Can you please state your name and date of birth?
My name is Hal Frederick, and I was born on January 14th, 1934. I'd spent a little time in Venice before I moved here. I was born in New York and spent a long time in Europe, and I felt Venice had a kind of cosmopolitan looseness that I liked. I moved to Venice in 1977. I had a catering company with a friend of mine, and we got a chance to open a restaurant in Venice. It was the first white tablecloth restaurant in Venice. And we opened on April Fool's Day, 1977. The restaurant was called Robert's. We were open for 5 years. There's something about the restaurant business that was very strange in LA. The top of the line in motion pictures went to one restaurant, and the people below the line went to another. Robert's was the first time that above and below the line found themselves in the same restaurant, and enjoyed that.
How do you think you achieved that?
We achieved it across the line, across the board, in fact, because it was a very integrated restaurant, and that wasn't happening then either. At Robert's, where we had wonderful jazz, really great music. People came, we had a jukebox, and people came for the jukebox. And that made them really comfortable, and it was easy to go from table to table and have a little conversation with people. That I enjoyed. That I really did enjoy. And there was a great deal of curiosity about it, and we got a lot of publicity.
Was it hard to get the Hollywood crowd to come out of Beverly Hills and Hollywood and all the way down to the beach at Venice?
Well, they said that it was going to be dangerous. They'd lose their hubcaps. The thing that really surprised them was the mix. The surprising thing was the mix in the restaurant, and that encouraged other people to do the same thing or come close to the same thing. Robert's closed in 1984, mostly because a conflict between myself and the investors in the restaurant. Myself and Robert mostly. And I lost my chef, which is a hard thing to do, which is difficult for the restaurant, is what I mean. But beside that, there was difficulty with investors.
What was the period of time between Robert's closing and Hal's opening?
Let's see. Hal's opened in 1987, and I had a friend, and we decided to open a restaurant together, and we went around all over the place looking at venues, and I came across Hal's, the building, the venue itself. One night when all the lights were sparkling, they had these indoor lights that sparkled. I'd never paid any attention to the venue before. And so I had to find out who owned it, and it was called The Merchant of Venice. And it sold most of the stuff that was in there was for sale. And then they started serving lunch, and then they went on to dinner, and they were not really doing well. And one of the investors, the major investor, I approached about making a serious restaurant out of the place. And after 6 months of real perseverance, he agreed.
Well, you seem to be the first person that had a vision about West Washington Boulevard, now Abercrombie.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting story. I had a great deal of difficulty getting people to find West Washington Boulevard because there were so many Washington Boulevards. And I found that real hard. So I had a neighbor who was part of the council, the Venice Council, and together we chose a name most decidedly that the council could not refuse. And that was Abercrombie Boulevard, because Abercrombie made all of those canals and designed all of Venice. We went to the city council proposals. We made a proposal to the city council in 1989, and surprisingly, it took less than a year. It took 9 months for that change to go through council. I discovered, because of my relationship with the LA Louvre and Peter Gould, who gave me 101, lesson 101 in contemporary art. He was a great help at the very beginning with his Filofax. Remember those? And he introduced me to all the artists. So I got to have quite a bit of solid art on the walls. Really, really great stuff. People like Larry Bell and Peter Alexander, and some really great stuff. Maya actually used house as an office. She'd come and she'd bring all of her friends, and we would sit around a large table and all have a laughing, seriously good time. She would bring along Lear. She brought quite a few people. And Gregory Hines, when he was alive, spent a great deal of time there and brought a lot of people with him. There was the Shaka Khan period. That was really nice. We closed the first house in 2015, and we opened the second house in 2018. But, you know, we were very grateful, incredibly grateful for getting the 28 years that we had. I mean, really seriously grateful. Because that was an enormous surprise. That's a long time for a restaurant in an area that, like Venice. Also, one of the things about Hal's that was interesting was that its connection to the neighborhood. Um, at at the beginning, uh, part of the connection to the neighborhood was getting the bumps away from the front door. But as we grew, uh, our connection, the more important connection, was to the people in the neighborhood, however they were feeling, whatever loss or win they had, they shared it with us, and that was wonderful.